Hey YouTube, today we're going to do a project that's a little bit different from what we normally do. I have a problem. This here is where the AC drip comes out of the house. It used to drip on this little area here. But in the summertime you get something like 1 to 2 gallons every couple hours of water coming out. And this little area here would turn into a muddy mush. So I came up with the bright idea to have it drain out onto our driveway. The problem is now the driveway is always wet. So today we're going to devise a little plan to actually have this drip occur under the ground. There's no drains close by where I could actually run this into a drain. So I'm going to come up with a little plan to actually put a container with rocks in a hole in the ground right through here and have it drain into the hole with drainage rocks all the way around it, so it will seep into the ground. This here is a 5-gallon container what I'm gonna do is just drill a series of 3/8" holes all the way around this thing and use some pipe fittings to put a piece of pipe in here from the air conditioned drip unit, and that way the water will drip in here, fill this thing up with rocks and fill around the outside with rocks. Dig a hole deep enough to cover this, plus about 6 or 8 inches on the top. Cover it with some rock and then put the dirt back on top of it. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna have to mark a whole series of holes on here, a whole series of holes in here, and then actually drill some holes, put some pipe fittings in here so that the water could drain in there, and then we go dig the hole. And then take this. Alright, so here's this with all the holes drilled. I used 1/2" holes instead of 3/8" holes. I think the 1/2" worked better. This here is where the water is going to come in. I'm going to put a short piece of pipe with an elbow pointing down. Since this thing has an angle like this, when I put it in the ground, I'm just going to make sure that is leaning a little bit. That way all the water just drains in, and make sure the water drains out of the bucket when it's in the ground. I'm going to utilize a union on the outside here so I could take it apart and wholly take this thing out if I need to. Alright, so here's the part that goes in the ground. I'm going to fill the inside here with some larger rocks, so when the water drains in here, it could drain out into the ground. We're going to have to take it outside now and see where we're going to put it in the ground. So this is about where I want this thing in the ground. Around here, there's some electrical wires running to the corner there. So this would be the exact position I want it. It has to go down. I have to dig the hole about 18 inches down. I want to put about 1.5 inches crushed rock below the box, then 6 inches around the box with drainage rocks and some bigger rocks, and then put it in the hole and cover just a little bit with some crushed drainage rocks. So here's the hole. This is about 17 inches deep, 16, 17 inches deep. And that's a little channel for the pipe to connect to this drain pipe, and I'll be cutting it here. And I hurt my wrist digging this. It's starting to drizzle now, so I'm going to try to hurry up and get this done. I'm going to put about an inch of crushed rock on the bottom of this before I put the container and fill it in with rock. That way there's some drainage in the bottom. And then we're just going to be connecting the pipe up to here and filling it in with rock. So here it is with all the pipes marked up, a little bit of gravel on the bottom, and I'm going to put some more in just a second. But now I need to glue this in place. I'm going to cut this somewhere right around here and utilize that little union. Cut this out, so in case ever I need to take this out and check it, I could just break that union and check it and just fill this in with gravel. I have a couple there, different size rock in here now. And now I want to go ahead and hook that pipe up and turn the air on real high so it drains a lot, because I want to see the water dripping in here before I fill this up with rock as well. So this thing is hooked up. Here's a union that I could break in case I need to do any checks or anything on it. And this is just one that's sealed with rubber. And that's a union down there in case I need to take this entire thing out. I'm going to go ahead and turn the air on upstairs way high. It's not very humid this morning. But hopefully it could pull some moisture out of here, and I could see some drips in here. Whoops. I can see some water dripping in here before I go fill this up with rocks on the inside and the rest on the outside. It's not as humid today as it's been in the last few days, but you could see there's a drip of water coming out there, steady drip, which means I get good flow. I don't see any leakage around here or around any of the other joints that I made. So I'm going to assume that this is good. So now I'm going to fill this in with some rocks. Put some big rocks in there and then some medium-sized rocks around. Cover it up with some fine rocks to prevent the dirt from sinking down in here. And then we should be good. Whenever this thing starts dripping like crazy, it should just go into the ground and into the soil and not make this place a soggy mess. So here we are, almost done. It's buried in the ground, covered with rock, some small rock, then some medium-sized drainage rock, then some large rock, and then some drainage rock and small rock again on top of it. Now I'm going to put the dirt. The small rock's going to prevent the dirt from actually getting into the bucket so it could drain out properly. Alright, so here it is, finished. The grass has to grow back on this little spot here. I put as much back as I could. I know it looks kind of ugly, but the grass will grow back. This entire area used to be like that, so I know the grass will grow back before next season. It's about to rain, so I won't do this, but I'm going to hit that with some black paint just to make it look like if it's part of the fence, it'll hide it a little bit. Hopefully this works well and there's no backup of water. If there is, I could always break that union right there and clean the system out. I hope you enjoyed this video. If it was helpful, give a thumbs up. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and we'll see you on the next one. God bless.